gross liability. So we have 2 lakhs of K has taken responsibility for 2 lakhs. Here he has taken responsibility. B has taken for 1,50,000. D is for 1 lakh, and M is for 50,000. Okay. This should always amount to the total shares issued. Next, less marked applications. Marked applications. Now, marked applications in favor of here, of which marked applications were as follows: 2,20,000. So he's already received a surplus. In case of B, it is 90,000. In case of D, it is 1,10,000. And in case of M, it is 10,000. Okay. Now, if you see, let's just minus this. K has a surplus. His actual liability was 2 lakhs, but he has received 2,20,000 in his favor. So 20,000 is a surplus. B, his liability has come down to 60,000. D has also got a surplus. His liability was 1 lakh, but he has received 1,10,000 in his favor. Maybe these are very prominent underwriters. Okay, and M, his liability has come down to 40. Now I told you, even though we have a surplus here, we don't divide the surplus yet. We minus everything and then we divide the surplus. Okay, next what we need to check is out of the total applications. Okay, the total applications, you don't have to write it out. If some of you can do it mentally, that also is fine. Total applications received is equal to total applications received are 4,50,000. Okay, that's what they told us. Applications were received for 4,50,000. Out of which marked are how many? Now marked will be how much? Here. 2,20,000 plus 90 plus 1,10,000 plus 10,000 will be 2 lakhs, 4 lakh 20, 4 lakh 30,000. How did I get 4 lakh 30,000? 4 lakh 30,000 are the marked applications. I'm not going to write everything. I think you know. 2 lakh 20 plus 90 plus 1 lakh 10 plus 10. 2 lakhs, 4 lakh 20, 4 lakh 30. That means your remaining applications become unmarked. So 20,000 applications will be the unmarked applications. Okay. Now the question is, we are minusing 4 lakh 50 here. Out of 4 lakh 50, in the form of mark, we have already minus 4 lakh 30. So we still have to minus 20,000. So we say less unmarked applications. Unmarked applications. That is 20,000. And this needs to be divided in a ratio. A ratio always of gross liability. If you see here, I won't do the calculation again. You can do it here itself. All these are divisible by 5. So 5 ones are, 5 twos are, 5 threes are, and 5 fours are. Yeah, if you cancel 4 zeros, so you will get it as 4 is to 3 is to 2 is to 4 is to 3 is to 2 is to 1. Okay, so take it in the, I think they all divide. You cancel this 4 zeros everywhere, cancel 4 zeros everywhere. It's divisible by 5. 5 fours are 20, 5 threes are 15, 5 twos are 10, and 5 ones are 5. So divide 20,000 in that ratio. If you divide 20,000 in that ratio, you will get it as 8,000, 6,000, 4,000, and 2,000. How did I get this? 20,000 into 4 divide by 15. 20,000 into 3 divide by 15. How do I get 15? 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus, sorry, not 15, divide by 10. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus 2, 9. 9 plus 1, 10. So 20,000 into 4 divide by 10. 20,000 into 3 divide by 10. 20,000 into 2 divide by 10. And 20,000 into 1 divide by 10. You will get each of these figures. Okay. So now if you see, K already had a surplus of 20,000, but he has still received additional 8,000 in the form of unmarked applications in his favor. So his surplus goes up to 28,000. He had 20,000 surplus, plus he has received 8,000 more. So his surplus goes up to 28,000. Here, B's liability comes down to 54,000. D's D also has a surplus. He already had a surplus. Plus, he has received 4,000 more in his favor, which will be 14,000. Okay, surplus of 14,000. And M's liability has come down to 38,000. Okay, so we have minus everything. We have minus this 4 lakh 50 marked and unmarked. 4 lakh 30 in the form of marked, 20 in the form of unmarked, so 4 lakh 50. Now we need to minus the surplus. Now two people have a surplus. Okay, so we say less surplus of K and D allocated to B and M in the ratio of gross liability. In the ratio of gross liability. Now, if we check the total surplus, how much is the surplus? 28,000 plus 14,000. That comes to 28, 32, 42. Okay. So, total surplus of 40,000, 42,000 of K and D has to be divided between B and M. And what's the ratio of B and M? 3 is to 1. So, in the ratio of 3 is to 1. So, if you are taking this surplus and giving it, this will become positive so that it's nullified. Then here 42,000 in the ratio of divide into 3 into 1, it will be 42,000 into 3 divided by 4, which will give us 31,500. Here again we write 14,000 because it's already given, and this will be 31,500 and 10,500. Okay. So finally this will be nothing, this will be nil. He does not have to take up anything because his actual liability was 2 lakhs, but then he received a surplus, so finally he does not have to take up anything. This will be 22,500. 54 minus 31,500. This again is nil, and this will be 27,500. Okay. Now, if you put these two together, 22,500 plus 27,500, you have to get 50,000. I think you do get 50,000. Okay. Put these two amounts together, you get 50,000. That means K and D don't have to take up anything. The entire 50,000 which is left, which nobody has taken up, B has to take up 22,500 shares, M has to take up 27,500 shares. And we call this liability as per agreement. We call this liability as per agreement. Okay, so always start with this. If you want, start with this working note because at the end of the problem, you can check whether you are correct. So this statement, like I said, is an elaborate version of the small calculation that we do. It's not required, but this is just a way of cross-checking whether you have got the correct answer or not. Is that clear, students? Any questions?